Always remember.
A day to remember, a day to heal. Our community comes together on the first anniversary of the theater tragedy. We'll have a look back at the emotional memorial service. And we'll share some of the special ways in which many of you honored the victims and helped the survivors, the families, and yourselves. It's a major company that's now calling Aurora one of its homes. We'll take you to the grand opening of Niagara Bottling. And it may well be the best sign yet that commuter rail is coming to Aurora. Those stories and many more are all coming up next.
Your city, your source for news. This is Aurora News Weekly.
Hello everyone, I'm Sarah Morris.
And I'm Wendy Brockman. Thanks for joining us.
We will remember. Those three words will forever symbolize July 20th here in Aurora.
Hundreds of you took part in a day of remembrance on the first anniversary of the theater tragedy. The day started off with a memorial service to remember those lost as well as the survivors and to show support for their families and friends and our community as a whole.
This is a story of resilience, not just of Aurora, but of humankind. Every community faces adversity at times, and we're no different. But adversity brings out the best in people. Through our sadness and tears, we have grieved. We have supported each other in healing. We have survived. And we are finding ways to move forward.
As we remember, we go forward. And part of remembering the incredible loss that happened a year ago is being able to appreciate how incredibly beautiful this day is, and that we almost have an obligation to immerse ourselves in life and commit ourselves more strongly, not just to our family and our friends, the people we know, but to those who we don't know, who without a moment's warning might need our help and our support.
I stand here before you kind of representing all of the healthcare providers, first responders who were a part of that night. And I am so sad for your loss. I see it every day, and it breaks my heart. But I do want to say that it is absolutely a miracle that 58 people survived that night.
Help us, Father, to stand with those who mourn, to pray for those who need comfort, and to be with those in our community that are still going through difficult moments.
One senseless act does not, cannot, and will not define us as a community. Instead, it is the innumerable acts of kindness, love, and caring for our neighbors and ourselves, and the acts of community heroes that define who we are. I hope that all of us are inspired to be more caring, compassionate, and thoughtful to our families, our friends, our neighbors, and our community. Always remember. We will always remember Jonathan Blunk.
A.J. Boyk.
It's a new dawn, a new day as we gear up for the opening of the new 225 light rail line. In less than 2 years, you'll be able to take light rail to places like the Aurora City Center, the Anschutz Medical Campus, and beyond.
We're excited to stay on top of what's to come. Aurora 8 has teamed up with RTD to bring you monthly in-depth stories. Producer Jenny Castor, RTD staff, and I are excited to share our first one.
The city of Aurora is changing. A new mass transit light rail line is under construction, and soon you will see lots of changes where you live and drive. Be alert, your safety is our first concern. And when the 10.5 miles of line are complete in the year 2016, light rail will enhance the city and provide better mobility through this dynamic region. And it will connect the entire region to Aurora, making it easier to live in Aurora and work in Denver, and vice versa.
And speaking of water, it's one of the most important parts of any plumbing system, the backflow prevention device. But chances are you may have never even given it much thought, but you should.
You should. That's because someone has been stealing backflow devices throughout the city of Aurora, and it could put our drinking water at risk. Take a look. This is what a backflow device looks like. Just as its name implies, it's designed to prevent backflow of water that may be contaminated with things like fertilizer and pet waste. So far this year, 134 backflow devices have been stolen here in Aurora from parks, businesses, homeowners associations. They've also been taken from medical facilities that need a constant supply of water for dialysis. Only 15 of the devices were stolen all of last year, big increase this year. Police believe thieves are taking them for their metal parts and selling them to scrap yards. If you have any info about the thefts, call Sergeant Franklin Michelson at 303-627-3152. You can also give information and remain anonymous by calling Crime Stoppers at 720-913-STOP, and you may be eligible for a reward of up to $2,000. Probably have a lot of questions about backflow devices and what you can do to help protect our drinking water supply.
That's right. That's why we brought in Jeff Gaddis. He's here with Aurora Water to explain a little bit about all of this. First off, you brought in some examples of some backflow devices. Tell us why people are stealing these. We also have some before and after video of Havana and Alameda streets. Again, as you saw earlier, the intersection was shut down several days because of the floods, but now it's all back to normal with traffic moving along just fine. Even this sign with its appropriate message about losing ground looks like it's back on solid ground. The only street in Aurora that still has issues because of flooding is Peoria between Florida and Mexico. Look at that damage. Work to repair Peoria is already underway, and the majority of it should be done in about 3 weeks.
We want to let you know the city has all kinds of helpful flooding information on our website. Just go to auroragov.org and click on the Flood Recovery Resources page at the top of the homepage. That site is constantly being updated with new information. It includes everything from how to replace important papers that may have been lost, to how to deal with mold, to how you can help others, as well as, of course, everything you need to know about applying for assistance through FEMA. Again, that's auroragov.org. You can also call Access Aurora at 303-739-7000 with your flood recovery questions. September is actually National Preparedness Month. Ironically, we did a story here on Aurora News Weekly just 2 weeks ago about preparing for a natural or man-made disaster.
Weather in Colorado can change in a moment. I mean, you really never know what could happen from one day to the next. We could get a good rainstorm come through and all of a sudden your streets are flooding and your garage is flooding and you're thinking, okay, what do I do? Where do I go?
We spoke to that woman with the National Weather Service at an emergency preparedness fair at the Gardens on Havana. Who knew that just 5 days later we'd actually see that kind of flooding? The state of Colorado runs a preparedness website called Ready Colorado. It offers all kinds of advice on how to be prepared, including printable checklists of what you need in an emergency kit. It also has information on how to avoid becoming a victim of a scam following a disaster. You can find the website at readycolorado.com. It's a special tribute that can be summed up with two simple but very powerful words: thank you. That's the message behind the Colorado Freedom Memorial, which officially opened Memorial Day weekend right here in Aurora.
As producer Yasmin Marino and our production supervisor Randy Simpson shows us, the memorial symbolizes our gratitude to Colorado's fallen war heroes and the many loved ones they've left behind.
We did it!
It's the day Rick Crandall and countless Colorado families have hoped for and patiently waited for. This is the official dedication ceremony for the Colorado Freedom Memorial, an idea that came about 13 years ago while Crandall was broadcasting his Denver radio show from the American Cemetery in Normandy, France.
After the broadcast, I walked through those graves one last time and wondered, how many of Colorado's fallen have had visits from home? How many people have spent lifetimes being angry and heartbroken? And what could we do about it? 13 years later, the Colorado Freedom Memorial is what we did about it.
The memorial honors the more than 6,000 Coloradans and their families who've made the ultimate sacrifice defending our freedom.
We sincerely thank you for this memorial dedication to honor those who lost their lives. To know their names will be seen not only by us, but all who view this memorial. Lets us know it did matter, and that those we held so dear will not be forgotten.
The names date back more than 100 years and include every Coloradan killed or missing in action since we became a state, including 23-year-old Marine David Tsonka of Parker, who died in Afghanistan just 3 weeks ago.
Let this memorial serve as a reminder that we will remain a free people, so long as there are Americans who are willing to serve our nation in uniform.
As we the people, knowing that those names listed on those panels made the ultimate sacrifice to enable we the people to pursue life, liberty, and happiness.
The memorial was designed by Christopher Kenton. The delicate, jagged glass panels reflect Colorado's mountains, the sky, and even visitors themselves.
A lot of these fallen soldiers, they never came home. They were buried in obscure places in Normandy, France, and there was never a gravesite, never a place for these families to come, and this gives that to them.
Aurora, which is home to Buckley Air Force Base and has a long military history, seems like the perfect place for the memorial.
To have the opportunity to remember and the opportunity to say thank you.
And it's the week of Thanksgiving, which means the holidays are about to kick into high gear, including right here at the Aurora Municipal Center.
That's right. We invite you to help us celebrate the sights and sounds of the season with our annual holiday tree lighting ceremony on December 3rd.
And we have a very special guest joining us now with a preview of this free and very festive event, Mrs. Claus.
Hello.
Welcome.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here, ladies.
So we understand that you, both you and your very famous husband, Mr. Claus,
yes.
will be at the tree lighting here at the Municipal Center. What will you guys be doing?
Oh, we'll be having so much fun. We have plans for cookies and cocoa and story time. Oh, what fun we'll have.
Thanks for watching and have a great week. We leave you now with more from the Aurora Sports Festival and the National Junior Weightlifting Championships, courtesy of Aurora 8 Supervisor Randy Simpson and production producer Jenny Castor.
Jake Murray, you're on deck.